A seller came in earlier with a sword pistol that was probably made in the 16 or 1700s. With an asking price of $20,000, I'm not even gonna make an offer until Alex comes in and takes a look at it and I get his opinion. Okay, this is completely ridiculous and really cool at the same time.
In German, they call it a Hirschfänger.
A what?
A Hirschfänger.
A Hirschfänger.
And basically, it means it's a sword pistol, as you can see.
So to me, this looks like it was just a showpiece, but could it have ever been used as a weapon?
It was made to kill wild boar once they were injured. So it was strictly for hunting. This wasn't a combat type piece. Royalty, landed gentry, they'd go out in the woods, they would shoot at boar, they'd injure them, they'd catch up to the boar, and they would try to stick it with the sword to finish it off, but if the boar was still moving, they could have the pistol to bring it down as well.
Because that particular little teeny pistol looks like it would just really piss anything off.
Yeah, well, that's why the boar has to be injured first.
Okay. This is late 1600s, maybe?
Yeah, or early 1700s, probably more like it. And the gunmaker here says London, but the thing is, they didn't really use these in England because the wild boar population had been overhunted. So by about 1700, there really weren't wild boars in England anymore. The interesting thing here is this is a very classic German design. And this gunmaker, Philip van de Vees, who was originally Dutch, moved to London and started making high-end firearms for the gentry. And you can see, I mean, it is gorgeous. In its day, this was about the very nicest Hirschfänger money could buy.
So what does a super fancy Hirschfänger go for?
Well, I would like to know if this could fire. If this could fire, it would show that it was truly built properly and not just for show. If not, the value drops quickly.
Okay.
Would it be possible to fire this?
I think it's absolutely necessary.
All right, let's go to the gun range in the morning. Yes. All right, meet you guys there.
All right, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Have a good one.
I'm a little nervous about firing this sword pistol because it is very old. Anytime you deal with old firearms, there's always a chance of failure.
Thank you, Alex. So the plan is we're gonna take that melon, I'm gonna put it out over there. I'm gonna demonstrate how the sword would work as if it were a wild boar, so give it a couple of stabs, and then I'll finish it off with the pistol. If the pistol works, we know that it wasn't a costume piece, that it was really made as a purpose-built tool, then I'll be able to value it for you.
So how much again are you asking for this?
I'm thinking 20,000.
Okay. Let's see if this shoots, because that's half the fun from being out here.
Correct.
I'm with you.
All right. I'm gonna go set up my brother.
All loaded up.
I really never did like him. He was a mama's boy. So what caliber is this thing?
It's close to a 22. It's a little larger than that, but I'm gonna actually put in a smaller projectile. Since it's so old, I wanna keep the pressure inside the chamber low, because if the pressure's too high, it'll blow my hand off.
As long as it's not in my hand.
So because I'm going a lower caliber, I patch the projectile. So it takes up the space inside the barrel. Okay. Okay, we're ready.
All right.
So the idea is that that is an injured wild boar. I'm gonna finish it off, put it out of its misery, so you'd stab it a couple of times in the neck, ideally. 1, 2, 3. Then you'd step away. If it still wasn't dead or it started to run away,
Whoa!
That surprised me.
it worked.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
That was actually a good little explosion for that little gun.
Okay, it works, it's real. What do you think this thing is worth?
I really like it. It's unique, it's beautiful. It comes from London, not from Germany. The silver grip with the negative space. I mean, it has a lot going for it, and you're not gonna see another one anytime soon. The issue is, what's the market for it? It's very specific, it's hunting-oriented. I think the realistic value in today's market is about $12,000.
Okay.
Sorry to disappoint. All right. Rick,
All
good
right.
luck, man.
See you, man.
The sword pistol worked. It's not the most powerful gun I've ever had, but it totally worked. It is rare, but there are not a ton of collectors out there looking for this. So it's a good buy for Rick at the right price.
What will you take for it?
12,000.
Well, that would make absolutely no sense to me. I'll give you 7.
I'll go 1050.
There's no money at that. I mean, I'll go $7,500. That'd be like it.
Well, you're not going to find another one like it.
Well, I know that. I'll never find another one exactly like it, but I'll find another 500 weird things I can buy and make more money off of.
Give me your top dollar.
That's it.
That's it?
It takes time to sell. It's a limited market.
I think I can probably do better at an auction or at in one of the specialty shows.
All right, man, if you change your mind, give me a call.
All right, man. Thank you very much for your time. I'm okay with not making a deal today because I think if I'd settled today, I'd regret it tomorrow. In the end, I think I'm going to make more money on this.
Is worth it just to see Alex almost blow himself up? See you, man. Can I help you?
Hi. Yeah, I was wondering if you'd take a look at this collection of mine.
Okay.
They're American League Baseball field passes from 1925 to, I believe, the 30s and 40s.
1925. You don't look that old.
I decided to go into the pawn shop today to try and sell a collection of American League field passes. I think these field passes are very special. There's nothing like them anywhere, especially as a set.
So where'd you get these?
These are passed down through my family from my great-great-aunt. She was a big baseball fan, and she met a sports writer from the Chicago Tribune on a train ride, and for 20 years after, he sent her these passes.
Okay, was there a little romantic thing going on there, or?
I don't know. That story got...
That story got lost?
Yeah.
Back then, all the big newspapers had a team of sports writers, but they couldn't watch it on TV and report about it. They traveled on the train to all the different games, and they reported on them right there. There was only 4 games going on at any time anyway, because there was only 8 teams. The American League was founded in 1901, and there was a lot of leagues competing to stay afloat at the time. The largest and most successful was the National League. And the National League tried to shut down the upstart American League. But the American League held on, and 2 years later, we had our first World Series.
A few years ago, my mom took these to Cooperstown with the intent to donate them to the Baseball Hall of Fame. The curator at the time took a look. He said he couldn't in good conscience take them because they could be worth a lot of money.
In addition to being old, these are extremely rare, and she has multiple sets spanning multiple decades. Most sports writers just threw these out at the end of a season. I really want these, but it only makes sense if I can get them for the right price. So did you want to pawn them or sell them?
I was looking to sell them.
How much did you want for them?
$2,000.
No. Things like this, people are expecting to be worth a fortune, you know, and it's...
A small fortune.
I know, but I've seen auctions like this where these all sold for between $15 and $150. Also, the ones I saw were from like 1903, 1912, a little older than these.
Well, I mean, there should be some value to the collection as a whole.
I would offer you like 40 bucks a piece. It's 40 times 25 is $1,000 bucks.
1,500.
No.
There's got to be some in there that are worth more.
There are some in there worth more, and there's some worth less.
So let's average it then.
We are $1,000. I gave you my best shot.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to take them back to Cooperstown.
You know, it's one of those weird things where I might get lucky with them, I might not.
I can't.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you showing it to me. I really like them.
Well, I'm a little disappointed. He only offered $40 for each pass. I just couldn't let him go for that. It'd be getting ripped off. I just couldn't do it.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am great. How can I help you?
I have a commemorative medallion that was given to me by Pope Francis.
Pope Francis, the coolest of all popes.
The hip one. I'm looking to sell my commemorative medal that was given to me by Pope Francis. One side of the medallion has an image of 2 women with a child, and the other side of the medallion says Pope Francis. I really have no idea what it's worth. I kind of think it's a one-of-a-kind item. I'm hoping to sell my medallion for $5,000.
Pope Francis, he was elected Pope in 2013. One of the more recent popes, probably why he's a little more hip, born in today's culture. So people love Pope Francis because he's committed to simple living and he advocates for the poor. He's always gonna be the coolest Pope, you know? Okay, this maybe looks like when the Pope did something significant, the Vatican and the Pope, they would hand these medals out. So where did you get this?
So my father was a World War II photographer. He went into Japan after they dropped the atomic bombs and documented the aftermath. Starting about in 2017, the Pope discovered my dad's work and kind of started championing his pictures as peace movement purpose. My father passed away about 10, 11 years ago, so I went kind of as in his place, and it was there he presented me that medal.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I actually went to Italy recently because I had a Zucchetto that I had to get authenticated.
And so, no doubt that this would belong to Pope Pius XII.
That's good news. We got an amazing Zucchetto from Pope Pius XII himself. This stuff's been around for a long time and people like to collect it. So, how much are you looking to get for it?
Well, I was hoping somewhere around like 5,000 or so.
I mean, honestly, I think that you're probably better off keeping it than even hearing what I want to offer you for it. You can find thousands of them in the $40 to $75 price range. So this is not for me to buy to try to resell. The story you have of your father getting it and the things he did is much more valuable than I think the medal
Much more
itself would be.
sentimental than it is what you could offer.
I do appreciate you bringing that in and seeing the medal that was awarded.
You got it. Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank
All
you.
right. As much as I was hoping to make money, it's more of a family heirloom and a sentimental item, and probably should end up in a museum in Japan eventually.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. When you walked in, I thought that was a cake.
I've got a diamond tiara,
Okay.
and it was formerly owned by Ida McKinley.
God, this is pretty amazing.
Who's Ida McKinley?
She was President McKinley's wife. There was stories about how he treated his wife better than any other person in Washington. If you said anything bad about his wife, you were immediately fired. I mean, there was just no two ways about it.
I'm here on behalf of my brothers. This piece was passed down to them. It was made by Dreiser and Son, a very prominent jewelry artist, and it's 220 diamonds. I'm asking $75,000. Would really like to stay pretty close to that number. 65, 70 might be able to do it.
Very, very interesting story. I'm surprised there hasn't been a book or a movie. She's was the only first lady with epilepsy. But it's a weird thing. I probably know more about Ida McKinley than I do about McKinley because I had epilepsy when I was a kid. As a kid with epilepsy, I researched people with the condition. And there was a lot of famous people. Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Edgar Allan Poe, and Ida McKinley. So I'm really interested in this piece. Basically what we have a tiara. That these things bolt onto.
Right, correct.
Okay? But also on the back, you have these little clips like this, so they can be a brooch also.
Exactly.
All right, now, it's really nice work, I'll tell you that. I mean, it seems from the time period, you know, it just intrinsic value here, diamonds and gold, you have like $6,000 or $7,000.
Wow, okay.
So what do you want to do with this?
I'd like to sell it. It's been passed down to my 3 brothers, and it's something that's kind of hard to split into 3s.
Okay, so they stuck you with the job of trying to find someone to buy it?
Exactly, exactly.
What were you looking to get out of it?
75,000.
I really, really like it. It's just putting a value on it is difficult.
But it's a multifaceted piece.
I agree with you. There's a lot more here than just diamonds and gold. It's got a story with it.
Right.
It belonged to a celebrity. So let me call my buddy Greg up. He deals in just really elaborate vintage jewelry. He will look at it, and we will try and figure something out. Okay?
Looking forward to it.
I love this piece. I know it's worth more than the parts. The question is, how much more?
Oh, there it is.
It's like the crown jewels of the United States.
It's an interesting looking piece. I'm the owner of Fred Layton. We specialize in vintage and antique jewelry, and we help people understand jewelry in the context of historical periods and also understand value. Late 1800s, you saw a lot of jewelry in nature motifs, a lot of bird feathers, wings. Pieces like this were quite popular. The diamonds are fine quality for the period. They're what you would expect to see. The idea that this was convertible and has the fittings for both the brooch and also the tiara, and I think that's kind of neat. So the question becomes, what do we know about the provenance? How can we substantiate the provenance of the piece itself?
It's seen in this official White House First Lady photograph. This is one of the events that was going on at the McKinley Museum, and it's featured there.
Well, certainly it does link in a fairly official way this piece to Ida McKinley. You know, how much value that adds it's a little bit of open to interpretation.
What would it go in your store?
Well, I think in a retail store like Fred Layton, we would see this piece sell for $75,000.
Okay, sort of what he's wanting. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to talk a little bit, but thanks, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. There are many collectors, people who have a fashionable sense of style, who would actually really appreciate that piece, both as a piece of jewelry and also because of its history.
So what are you thinking?
I'll give you 35 grand.
It's a lot of money. After hearing what he has to say, I think we've got to get more. You know, if it does retail for 75,
You're not gonna be able to retail it. I mean, what's your bottom dollar?
I think I've got to stick around up at the 75,000
There's
mark.
no way. There's no way. There's very, very few people in this world who can pull that money out of their pocket and buy a tiara.
I gotcha. What's the best you can do?
40?
I think we're probably a little bit too far apart at this point right now, but could I ever come back?
You can come back. You know what I mean?
The offer stand?
No. No, economies change.
Yeah,
I mean, they
I
really do.
understand.
I mean, I'd go 43. That would be it. 43 is a fair offer.
That's a great offer, and I appreciate it. I'll be back in touch with you.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you very much.
You know, I got a little lost in the history in this thing. I'd love to have it, but the most I can go is 43,000. Any more will just be gambling.
Hello.
Hey,
What do you got here?
I have my uncle's comic book collection. He passed away and this was handed down to me.
They're all comic books?
All comic books.
This is pretty cool. Is there anything good in here?
I have no idea.
All right, how many boxes do we have here?
I have 7. This is actually only half of his collection. My brother inherited the other half.
Well, hopefully you got the good half.
I hope so. I'm at the pawn shop because where else are you gonna take 7 boxes of comic books and sell them? I'm hoping that they're really valuable, but I don't have the time to go through them all. If I sell the comic books, I'm probably gonna spend the money taking my kids on vacation.
Okay, there's some pretty cool stuff in here. Dracula, I know you've heard of Dracula. Lord of the Vampires. The Avengers are so hot right now, they have so many movies. I think this is the first one that Rogue made an appearance in. It's pretty cool.
It looks like a bunch of paper to me.
What do you mean, bro? Have you ever heard of Doctor Strange?
No, but I'm looking at Strange.
Well, Doctor Strange should be worth a few $100 on its own. I wonder what else you got in here. Oh, the X-Force. Issue 2. This is like one of the first couple times Deadpool made his appearance in a comic book.
Dude, you acting like you're an expert in this.
Whatever, bro.
You better get somebody down here that knows what they're talking about.
Dude, I don't need Paul. These are comic books.
He's a comic book expert?
I may not know everything about comic books, but these comics are priced between $0.25 and 75 cents per book, which means I can date them back to the 70s or 80s, which means they're from the Bronze Age of comics, and bronze is only 2 steps away from gold. And there's 7 boxes of these babies. Sometimes you can just fill the deal.
Enough of negative Nancy over there. I think you have a pretty cool collection. What exactly are you looking to get for him?
I'd like to get $2,000.
Well, I can tell you that ain't gonna happen. Even if there's $2,000 worth of comics here, it's gonna take a lot of time to go through all these boxes. I'm gonna have to find that diamond in the rough. But with that being said, you know, pretty sure I can.
I'll give you 50 bucks a box. That's $350.
Can you do 500?
Would you go 450 on them?
500 is gonna be the lowest I can go.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't want no parts of this if you don't call Paul down here.
Life is about chances, and sometimes you just gotta take them. I'm gonna do the 500. I'm gonna show everyone what an expert I really am.
I know there's gonna be some good stuff in here.
Meet you right over there to write it up.
Thank you. I'm taking the $500 because I don't want to carry the comic books out of here.
This is how you do it, Antoine. This is how you make a name for yourself in this business. When these are gonna be worth $5 grand, I'm gonna be the one who gets the reward.
What did you two buy?
I didn't buy anything. Leave it up to your expert.
I bought these comics for 500 bucks.
When did you become an expert on comic books?
I only worked at the pawn shop for almost 15 years.
So just do me a favor and do call someone who knows something about comic books and find out if I just lost money.
Yeah, like Paul.
Watch. You just watch.
All right, guys.
His palsy.
All right. Hey, that's a nice little stack we got there.
Yeah, I pulled about 18 books. Some really cool stuff.
Yeah, duh.
You got First Taskmaster, First Nova, Red Hulk. Some good stuff. There's Doctor Strange in there.
Yep. I said it pretty good.
All right, the big question, what are they worth?
This stack I pulled is probably, there's about 200 bucks retail.
And the other couple hundred pounds of comic books are worth?
About 5 cents a book if you're lucky. It's common stuff. There's nothing high grade, nothing that's really worth getting certified.
How many of them are there?
300 in a box, so 2,100.
2,100 nickels.
I'm not good at math, but it seems like it's more than 500.
So you spent 500 bucks on some comic books I'll be lucky to get like 180 bucks out of, and 7 boxes of the recyclable paper. So they're basically worthless.
No, they're not worthless.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks for the bad news. I mean, you gotta find the silver lining here, Rick. We put a box of these on the floor, put like $1 price tag on them, and then parents buy them for their kids when they come in here to, pawn something. And
In a couple years, I might get my money back.
hey, sometimes investments are made over the long run. You kids these days want all this instant satisfaction. I need to go home.
Chum,